Okay, this is my second video on quadratic functions, and I'm now going to show you a different mode to sketch quadratics. For example, let's think about if we wanted to do completing the square and we had our quadratic in a different form. I can go into graph mode here. If I just go in there, exit and delete, I can type functions in different formats in here if I wanted to, but it's not the best way of always looking at functions. So I'm going to now show you this conic graph function, which is function number 9 on your main menu. If you go into there, you will see that we have lots of different modes that we could type in, and there's a little picture here to help. Now in A-level maths you won't really come across these two here, so just ignore those. They say x equals, we're only really interested in things that say y equals. So we go down, and that's my completing square format. I've then got my normal format that I was using in my last video, and then I'll come back to these later, but I also have two circle functions there, which again we'll come back to, but they're going to be really helpful to us. So if I had something in the form of a completed the square form, then I would want to go to this format. So let's say that A is 1 and H is 4 and K is 3. Let's see what happens to the graph. So I look at my equation and I just sub in my values. Make sure that your H, there's a minus there, so just be careful. That would say x minus 4 all squared. And then if I click draw, it will draw the graph for me. This is really helpful for transformations of completing the square, because I can say, okay, I know that the graph is going to move 4 to the right and 3 up. I can then go to gsolve, and if I click symmetry, or vertex, that will help tell me. So the vertex is the minimum point. That will tell me it's 4, 3. And again, I could tag that on there like that. Or I could go gsolve and find the line of symmetry. And the line of symmetry is the equation x equals 4. So I can have that on there as well. I can also find the y-intercept, which I can't see because I'm not zoomed out, but it is 0, 19. And I could also find the x-intercept if there were any. In this case there isn't, so it will say not found. So that's a really different way of putting in a graph, and it gives you a line of symmetry really quickly. I can also, if I go exit and I go back to this format, which is non-completing the square, if I sub in some values here, sub in the same values I was using in the last video, the graph will look the same as it did in the last video, but now I have some different functions down here in gsolve, so quicker I can find the vertex and quicker I can find the line of symmetry. So that's a helpful different graph mode, which I will come back to later when we do circles.